you so much, everyone. Good morning again. For those of you who know me, for those of you who do not know me, we are in for an exciting 20 minutes. And Charlotte and I, we were exploring, and her team, what it is that we want to bring to the room this morning. And I think in the world that we live in, if not already, we all are very consciously aware of how we are adding value to the world of sustainability. And I wanted to take a few minutes this morning as we kick off this very incredible, amazing Dream Bigger Summit that Women of Stature and Charlotte and her team have put together. We wanted to kind of shift the focus and start by understanding how can we create a mindset of sustainability. Perhaps there are things that we all are very consciously engaging in, but I wanted to together, all of us, align at a certain level in terms of how we individually take the responsibility of bringing about the change so that we can then be those flag bearers, if not already after these 2 days of this great event, to start to bring about that little shift in our mindset. Because from where I sit and from where perhaps some of you are looking at the world is, there is so much that you can do to bring about a change by controlling and influencing the others. When I say others, it is anybody but ourselves, even our immediate family and the people who we call our friends, the near and dear ones. So, my work and my talk today, this morning, is going to be focused primarily on how we can, if not fix, elevate ourselves so we can bring about this change that we want the world to follow when it comes to sustainability. As much as you all would know me or do not know me, if I was in that room physically, you would know that I will make you all stand up and I will make you all do a lot of exercise and a lot of engagement. But let me just take a pause for just 30 seconds because I know you are in the places you are. And I want you with your colleagues or the partners or whoever it is that you're sitting with on your tables. I want you to take a moment and I will count my seconds here on the watch. I want you to tell each other what sustainability means to you. It could be one word, it could be one sentence. And your time starts now. 30 seconds on the clock. What it is that you think of when you think sustainability. So it's 15 seconds on the clock. Another 15. Okay, and that's the time. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm sure you have come together to find certain words, certain meanings, certain definitions of what sustainability means to you. If you have a pen and a paper, write it down because when we finish these 20 minutes, I want you to go back to it because through these 20 minutes, I want us to learn how we can make our understanding of sustainability a reality. So really working on the mindset. And when we talk about mindset, what it is that we really want to do. So with a hand on my heart, I would like to just quickly take you through my journey in 2 minutes. And if you can just give me a nod of your head and maybe the presenter can say, yes, do I have a permission to talk about me very quickly?
Absolutely, you can go ahead.
Thank you, thank you. And I'm assuming everybody in the room is saying yes to. So, to all those who do not know me so well, my name is Charul Jaitley. I'm based in Dubai for last 20 years, for 2 decades, and I had the utmost pleasure of associating with Women of Stature, with Charlotte, when we did the event in 2022 in Dubai, and with the universal powers and with all the great work that happens with this organization, I happened to become the first global Women of Stature winner, the global winner in the year 2022. Rest everything is history. We have created those bonds with Charlotte and the team, and I'm delighted with how we have developed this relationship and what lies ahead. A little bit about me. I was a timid young girl from a small town in India. I was a small girl with big, big dreams. My life had different plans for me. And to be honest, for all those people who think I have it all figured out and I'm all gathered and presentable here, as I speak to you, I have been through my share of upheavals, and my life and myself was not what you see today. Not too long back, just 5 years back, I was crippling myself at every level of my being, emotionally, physically, financially, with my career, with my family, with relationships. I made those choices which did not serve me well. And what I continued to do was I was always thinking about everybody else. And I forgot that I cannot pour from an empty cup. I had to fill my cup myself. And that aha moment and that switch happened in the year 2021, which is just a few years back, when I found myself coming out of a 9.5 hours long surgery. And I realized I have to fix something in me. If I want to bring about a change around me, I have to work on me. And everything that happened after 2021 has been nothing short of a miracle. I call it a miracle, but it has been a very gradual process of growth. So today I stand tall in front of you with my chin up, claiming myself to be a best-selling author, not claiming really I am. A coach and a speaker. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. I have a business that I run here in UAE, which is now global. And through that business, our purpose is very, very simple. Our purpose is to create that ripple effect of positive growth with whoever that it is that we touch. If it's our folks in South Africa, if it's our people in India, or if it's where we live in the UAE. And really, all of that begins with our mindset. So here I am doing what I do, creating the impact that I wish to, doing so sustainably, however, always reflecting back on my mindset. And you may ask why? Why do we have to think about it? Because, like it or not, somewhere, whoever is in the room, whoever is listening in today, whoever will listen in the future, we can all agree with a hand on our heart, we all want to be successful. And, raise your hand in the room if you're with me. We all want to live a happier life, right? And we all want to live a wealthier life, right? So we all want to be happy. We also want to be wealthy. And how can we achieve that in today's world? Is by living a sustainable life. And really, if you see, it's a give and take. It is not one or the other. It's not and or. It's together. So if we really want to be happy and wealthy and healthy, whatever it is that our goals are, being sustainable. So the why is extremely simple. And I don't want to put here content in front of you, which is complex and there's a lot of data. Simplistically, if we peel the layers, if you ever dreamt of being successful, you have to only live sustainably. And why do we do that? Is because it allows us to overcome our own challenges. I'm sure all these people in the room, some who I know, some who I'm meeting for the first time, you have had your share of challenges, your share of upheavals. You have overcome a boulder in your life, right? And that story, that experience can really inspire somebody else. Whether we choose to acknowledge it or not, whatever we go through can really help somebody who is still there and they're struggling to find the answers. And you can be that power of transformative change. Now, transformation is a word in today's day and age. It's used, or let's say rather over abused, in a way that people use it to make an impressive statement. But what really is transformation? For me, I speak for myself here. For me, a transformation is if one person in this room today, filled with ladies who are leaders of tomorrow, if not already today, if one of you take away 1% of what I'm saying today, for me, I have made a transformative change. I have created that inspiration in you that I wanted to in these 20 minutes that are served to me, which is why it's so important. It's not the size and the scope of how and what you do to ensure your success leads to sustainability and the circle and the chain continues. But what is important is to do that, is to move forward. Is this something new? Let me ask the host, what is the audience saying by a raise of hand? How many of you think sustainability is a new concept?
Nobody is raising their hand right now.
Thank God, yeah, you're with me. It is not, right? When we were little, regardless of what is our age, when we were little, our parents would tell us various things which were sustainable concepts. Things like do not waste food, right? Whatever you take on your plate, you have to finish, you have to eat. Not wasting food was a sustainable practice, right? When we were growing old, and I remember I was growing tall very quickly, my mother would get me skirts stitched, which would fold underneath and would get them stitched so we can open them up later so I can wear them longer. And that I think was a really cool, sustainable practice. These are just some very real life examples, and then it grows on to some very bigger concepts. When I started my corporate journey, I really was committed to ensuring no wastage of paper or stationery. There was this thing in me, I could not let the trees be chopped. So much so, I translated my passion for paper and trees and stationery into a business model. And I spoke about it in the last summit and before. We as an organization, we as a company, we have a bespoke tree planting project where we leverage blockchain and AI to plant trees around the world. Now, tree planting can be extremely, let's say, difficult project because it is not transparent. People have not created accountability and transparency. So we make it innovative. We leverage AI and blockchain. So you can chat with your tree. We make it engaging. Click of a button, device of your choice. You can travel to the location of the tree and see the tree. You can speak to the farmer and so on and so forth. And really what happened there is there were sustainable concepts which were given to us very, very subconsciously planted in our head. And we translate and elevate that with our passion to create a compelling project which inspires everybody and also is a business model for you to continue to thrive. So it really is nothing new. It has been with us. We just have packaged it a bit differently. Here are some examples. I'm sure we all, if not all, most of us have heard of the Lego Group, right? The brand from Denmark, right? Their sustainability mindset includes using plant-based materials. The packaging is sustainable. And there's so many other little things they do. We also have, and I could just only pull out a few, there are many, many examples around the world. This gentleman, Narayana, in India, he has created cutlery, which is edible. It's made out of millet. And I'm sure in South Africa, there are many examples. When I was there last year, I was surprised with a lot of things that are happening within the hotels, within hospitality, and otherwise when you travel to the malls and places where tourists go, there is a lot of practices that are being implemented already. And where does all this lead to? I want you to get a holistic perspective because there's going to be a lot of talk that we will have today and tomorrow. But it's really up to you what it is that you take away from these 2 days and start to apply in your life to make the difference. Because the people who are on the other side of the table, they're already making a difference to have the opportunity to come to present to you. And what I wanted to do today was just kind of summarize it in a way that it becomes actionable for you to apply it in your own life. So if we look at sustainability and if we look at our life, my recommendation is that we package all our efforts, all our thoughts around these 4 pillars. So the first is the ecological worldview. We touched a little bit upon it in the last 5 minutes. The perspective, what's happening in the world, right? Spiritual intelligence. Those of you who know me, they will know this is a topic which is very, very close to my heart, and emotional intelligence. Now I can just give this to you and say, hey, run with it. But you know what? I'm just going to spend a few minutes taking you through each one of those and give you very realistic examples from the perspective of mindset, how we can switch from a mindset of not being ecological worldview to how do you become. Give you 2 examples under each category. So when we talk about ecological worldview, I'm talking about eco-literacy and my contribution for each one of us in the room, for each one of us who is listening to this presentation, right? Now, eco-literacy is all about understanding what is ecological world. Is it just planting trees? Is it just environment? Or is it also societal challenges? Is it also political challenges? Is it also economic challenges or economic opportunities, right? So having a worldview, having an understanding of the entire ecosystem which impacts our sustainable well-being is important. And I encourage and I urge, if there are any educators, if there are any representation from, universities, colleges, or knowledge authorities in South Africa, that we take a moment or maybe take a step back to understand and calibrate how much of an effort are we making in ensuring this literacy happens at the right age. And then understanding how am I contributing. When I was a little girl, I felt so insignificant because of many things that were happening to me. I was a sick child. I was a very weak girl back in the day, and I used to think that I would never matter. I don't matter, and what I do, what I think, does not matter. But haha, life had a different surprise for me, right? We all get shaken up and we are all thrown out of our own comfort zones. And so was I, only to be pleasantly surprised by myself. What's important is to know we each can contribute. And not only that we can, remember that it matters. No matter how small, no matter how big, it's not a quantification of dollars or money in the account or a project. It's about shared value, what it is that we can do to contribute in making an ecological worldview a matter of literacy within our own circles of reference. So how does I told you I'll break it down for you. So just few pointers to tease your brain, right? Here are some examples, right? If you're siloed, the information is siloed or fragmented, how do we connect the dots? How do we bring it together? How do we create that awareness? I'm unrelated to self to make it personal, make that purpose, make that project, make that objective personal. Am I only talking about rationale and my left brain, or I'm also engaging my right brain and I'm engaging my feelings? Right? Give it a moment, let it sink in, and please, to the moderator here, if people wish to take pictures, screenshots, or for this to be circulated, I never copyright my content. It's all there. My purpose in life is to give 10x value. You give me 20 minutes, I'll give you content for 20 hours. That's my promise to you. 10x value always. So feel free to take notes of these, because if you get confused later, you exactly know where you have to go fix your thought process. The second part of the pillar was systems perspective. And here again, two concepts I want to touch upon. Long term. And I think that's very clear. It's very literal. Do not think about just today. It's okay to start by thinking about today, but always think big. Now, when I say think big, it does not just mean in the sense of timeline. It also is in the sense of the impact you create amongst people, societies, the world at large. Think big, think large, think long term, right? And they say, if you think big, the big will come to you, it will happen. Do not limit yourself, do not condition yourself. The both and thinking. Now, I wish I could engage with you and ask you who understands and what is the perceived understanding of both and thinking, but I'll say it to you and take a moment to let that sink in. It really is about when you are in a project with the other party, when you are in a discussion with somebody else, when there is a collaboration that happens between the two parties, always and always think about both and, which is, I want to win, but how do I let the other person win? I want to get the good result out of it, but how does the other person also get a good result out of it? It is both and we move forward, both and profitable. And I think if we do that, it is going to make a significant difference. If you have not already started doing it, make a conscious choice of bringing about that change in our mindset. So how do we do that, right? From deconstruction, look at patterns, flows, processes, feedback loops. Do not look at something or a project in fragments, in pieces. See it as a whole. How does it all come together? How does it add value? Instead of dualism, let's look at the paradox and complexity of the situation. not just quantitative, but also qualitative. So let's start to bring about that changing in our thought process, and it will start to impact our outcome, our result of the project. Very, very important, emotional intelligence. And the two concepts I wish to touch upon today is creative innovation and self-awareness. Creative innovation is something that I shared with you about our tree planting project. Very aligned with my personal purpose, very aligned with where my business is growing. We are making a creative option for people to adopt and plant trees or plant and adopt trees, but we do so by also leveraging all the innovative tools that are available around us. In this case, were blockchain and AI. So creative innovation is extremely, extremely important because then we can harness all that is with us and around us and ensure we are being sustainable, not just in our mindset, but also in our actions. Self-awareness, and going back to what I said around 15, 18 minutes back, everything starts here. Everything starts with us. We have to make a conscious choice of acknowledging who we really are, aware of our own downfalls, aware of our own gaps and challenges. And if we do that, people will see our authenticity. People will see the natural purpose with which we make a compelling proposition, and people would want to engage and work with us. And here are some examples. Do not be very rigid in your mindset. Offer that flexibility. Have that resilience and adaptivity. Do we always want to be reactive? If we have, or we choose to be reflective, right? There's a huge difference. And believe me, just this slide is a 2-hour workshop. So I know I'm giving you a lot, but chew it later and digest it through the night or next few days. But it was important for me to give you 10x value for the time that you have offered me. Let's just to not be defensive about anything that goes wrong around us or with us, right? Let's be insightful. Let's make those right, conscious, and aware choices. Let's be emotionally intelligent with our own mindset that will enable us on this journey of sustainability. And the last pillar, if you remember, was about spiritual intelligence. We can all agree with a raise of hands, and I'm sure I can expect a few of you raising your hands already. There's so much more to the world than meets the eye. There's so much more. And it always, always pleasantly surprises me as to how much there is for us to explore and tap into. And here today, in terms of spiritual intelligence, I would encourage each one of you, all of you all, to give yourselves the opportunity to be mindful and purposeful. And that has been game-changing. If any of you, even for a second, said or thought, I want to learn something from this woman on the screen, I want to be like her, or I wish I knew what did she do to reach here, these are my 2 magic mantras out of my toolkit. Really does the trick. The mindfulness and purposefulness in life is what will get you through whatever it is that you want to achieve, especially when you want to create a mindset of sustainability. And what does all of this lead to? One may ask, what is the ROI? What it is that I get in return for putting in so much of an effort? These are just 4 points that I've written. If you start to write it down for your own self, for your own business, for your own life, I'm telling you, you will run out of papers because there's only and only positive outcome out of all these tools that you will implement to ensuring a sustainable mindset. It future-proofs your business because you are ahead of the game. You are already creating those caveats that could lead to failure for other businesses or your competition. You will ensure with that approach, when you're mindful, purposeful, when you're open and resilient, that your employees will have the right culture to grow and thrive in, which then means they're happy and they're engaged. And believe me, people are money, people are future, and we want to invest in them. We want to keep them happy. A loyal customer base, how cool is that? And long-term financial return on investment. So really a holistic impact, a positive impact on everything that you would want to achieve in your business. So why should you do it? These are just 4 reasons, and I'm sure you will find your own reasons. But in other words, it helps you tackle the people, planet, and profit, all the three aspects of your work. So what's in it that you would not like? What it is that it is not relatable to you to want to make that switch if not already. Now, very quickly, there's a lot of, I say, gyan that I've given you in terms of wisdom. Do this, do that, do this, do that. But really, the buck stops as to how. Yeah, she gave us a lot of inputs on what we should do and why. But really, the game-changing answer is how, because a lot of us, even me for that matter, we get stuck on the how. What is that first step? Where do we begin? So in the interest of time, I'll give you just few pointers. Write them down, take a screenshot, memorize them if you can. Reach out to me later if you have to and if this excites you. But do these very simple steps. I will make life easy. I'm not here to complicate your life, but you have to make that effort. You have to define a very clear goal. It's like when you are wanting to use GPS to reach a location, till the time you don't put the destination, no matter how good your phone is, if it's the latest iPhone or Android, the latest version of Waze or Google Maps, if you do not have a location, the app cannot do a thing for you. You have to have a vision of your goal, right? So have a clear goal in your mind, clear plan. So now we start to use our app in this analogy. We go on a phone in our app and we say, I want to go here, start, right? And the phone or the tool will start to show you a path to go towards your goal. Strengthen your self-confidence. Continuing with the analogy, if you are not a good driver, right, and you want to reach your goal, the app is good. You have the way to get there. But if you do not have the right skill to drive your car, God help you. You might get some tickets on the way, a traffic fine or two. So it will not give you enough confidence to drive on the road, right? And the next time you might not want to take your own car or go into a public transport, which will slow your speed, which will delay your reaching your goal, right? So you have to, and the analogy here is to build your confidence is you have to continually learn and upskill yourself, right? To make sure you are that confident driver sitting in the driver's seat, taking that path as per the plan towards your goal. Build those habits. Again, going back to the analogy, when it's a red light, I slow down. When it's a green light, I speed up, right? I do not cross in front of other people. When I change lane, I indicate, right? And again, please keep reflecting back and on what this means to your own personal habits in you fulfilling that goal for yourself. Use this analogy later to reflect on what this means to you. Evaluate your time. If you have to reach somewhere at 10 o'clock and your GPS is saying it will take you 20 minutes, I think it's a little bit unfair to leave 15 minutes before and say, I will make it to my plan. The plan is clear, the path is clear, and my goal will be achieved. I think we have to be mindful of how much time are we serving ourselves. In which case, you could have the best of the habits, have a lot of confidence, but because you did not time it well, you will not succeed. Start small. Yes, I wanted to buy a Rolls Royce, but it will come. I can start with a Mazda in the meantime, or I can get my small Toyota, Innova, whichever car, I can start, but I start. So whatever it is that you want to do, taking you towards your goal, it might not be very big steps in the right direction, but each small step even matters. And while you do that, while you do all of that, like I said a little while ago, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Look after yourself, right? If the driver is not rested well, is underslept, then the journey can be compromised, right? So look after yourself, get that rest in this analogy, but whatever it means to you. How do you fill your cup? Find that out. Hold yourself accountable. Now, if a driver meets with an accident, if you're in the driver's seat and there is a co-passenger with you and the traffic police comes, who would they give the fine to, the driver or the co-passenger? I'm sure you will all agree it's the driver because you are in the driver's seat. You are responsible for what speed are you driving at? How safe are you? Are you on the path? Are you walking towards your goal? And in whatever it is that you do, when you talk about mindset of sustainability, you have to learn to hold yourself accountable. We do not have to point fingers. We have to introspect. Consistency is the key. And to our driver in the analogy, right? If he is used to that certain way, if he's taken that way before, he is sure to drive through those roads faster. For all of you all, if you have been to Indaba where you're sitting today before, you knew how long it will take you. You understood, you have a ballpark figure of, how many traffic lights and whatnot. If you were to come here for the first time, you might take a little longer. So consistency is the key. And I say this all the time, it really is a DNA of all the work I do around the world. Failing is a part of growing, failing is a part of learning. Failing is important. Not that you must consciously fail, that's not what I'm proposing. But as you continue to grow, there will be those setbacks. Leverage them. I feed on my failures. They allow me to do better the next time. And I would encourage all of you all to do the same. And this picture for me is simple, but so, so, so powerful. And the moderator, just a quick question. We are coming towards the end of the presentation. I want to see with the raise of a hand, how many of the people align with the person who is hanging on to the ladder marked as 100 on the left? Please show a raise of hand in the room. How many of them align with the person on the left?
Anybody see themselves in the lift? A couple of hands at each table.
And then on the right, the person who is going on the ladders marked 10 each.
Anybody on the right? A couple of people on the right, it seems. many left jumpers.
Awesome, awesome. And look, nothing is right or wrong. This is just a reflection of who we truly are, what it is that is right for us, and is it really working for us? Because a lot of people who are coach and mentor all the time, all around the world, they get stuck on the path of 10 steps at a time, which is the person on the right-hand side, right? And they're like, no, I'm too slow, but somebody else is jumping hoops while I'm learning to walk. And it brings them on a journey of decline because they've not even started and they've procrastinated that they're not good enough. But every step is a step upwards, is a step forward. And when you take those big, big jumps, which is the person on the left-hand side, if you see the picture represents him as somebody who's hanging in between, who does not have enough support to move forward. So this is not wrong or right. What the image predicts is, if you are taking such big jumps, do you have the right resources? Do you have the right enablers? Do you have the right support and strength to go on? If not, it is okay to take those small steps as well. Take one big step if you're ready, and then few small steps, and then perhaps a big step again. What is important is every step matters. Do not for a second doubt yourself or second doubt yourself. Guidance matters. There is so much of support all around you in the room, or people that you network with through Women of Stature group, through Charlotte's tribe, I call it, right? There's so much to lean on to. There's so much to leverage. Coaching matters. A coach is somebody who has gone through it, who has jumped those hoops, who understand what it takes to get to the plan or the path that you've created for yourself. What is important is that you have to take the first step. And what I want you all to quickly do is, literally in 10 seconds, I really encourage you all to take a moment and write down what is that one step for these 20-25 minutes that I spoke. And thank you so much for your time. What is that one step that you will take today? It could be something very simple. While you're writing, let me give you some examples. It could be that you make a pledge with yourself that you will speak to everybody who you meet today, whether you know them or you don't know them. Or it could be, yes, you will learn one trick that somebody has applied that will help you overcome the challenge that you are facing today. Or it could be, I will make a conscious effort of inspiring somebody today. Maybe it's over a tea or a coffee during a break, but gives yourselves the chance to take that one step to ensuring you start to work on the mindset of being sustainable. And for those of you who wish to stay in touch, you can scan these, look at these quickly, go on these QR codes here, find me on different social handles. And on that note, thank you so much. While it was one-sided, I felt I was present. I was there last year in the same room, standing on the same stage. So I can really, and I'm a very visual person, so I can really picture myself standing there in front of all you beautiful souls. Allow me to thank you for your time and attention, and allow me to congratulate you for choosing to be in this amazing event where you will receive 10x, if not 100x value for all your time. Thank you so very much. I wish you a great day ahead.